Oh, there we go. Now I'm live. Okay, here we go. So today, our big key today, objective, is finding the angle using right triangle trig. Trigonometry, okay? Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you don't like clowns, it's kind of a scary thing. Some people don't like clowns, but that's just the way it is. So I think this is really good.
Birthday party invitation?
Yeah, I think she left these in the copy machine. I didn't realize that. And I hit print, and this is what printed, so it's kind of fun today, huh? Fun paper. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so finding the angle using right triangle trig. Okay, so the key is really these buttons here. Okay, whenever you use these buttons right there, you're going to find an angle. These are so if you need an angle, anytime you need to find an angle, you've got to use these three buttons, which on our calculator are in blue: sine inverse, cosine inverse, tangent inverse. Okay, so you just hit the blue button, then one of these here. Okay, so example 1, find sine inverse of 0.5. So I'm just going to do this on my calculator. I'm going to go. I want you to do this with me. Sine inverse of 0.5. We get 30 degrees. Okay. Theta equals 30 degrees. Theta, because theta is our angle.
Okay, Mr. Davis, for the last one, you said when you were finding the like length, it would go in and it would calculate like the length of the side and then all the possibilities. What is this one?
Okay, check it out. Example 2. Great question. Scott, you're ahead of me as always, okay? So example 2 is the same question, but it describes what's going on, okay? Do you see how it's the same question? 0.5 and 1/2. Same thing. So if we drew a triangle, you don't have to do this, but we do know that sine of an angle is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. And we learned that last week. Hi, Maddie. Last week. Anna. So, Scott, you with me? So that means in this example, the opposite would have to be 1, and the hypotenuse is 2. So what angle in the triangle makes that triangle?
Oh, so okay.
Right? And so again, if we did the same thing, we'd get 0.5, agree? So I want to find the angle, I'd go sine inverse of 1/2, and I'd get a 30-degree angle.
What knows if the hypotenuse is this long and the opposite is that long, the angle has to be this.
Has to be. In fact, it's even up there on the board. That special right triangle is the same thing. Look at it. The x and the 2x way over there. It's always a 30-degree angle. Scott, you ask really good questions. So then example 3 is the exact same question, isn't it? Look at example 3. Example 3 is the exact same question. You have some angle here that has an opposite side of 1 and a hypotenuse of 2. The angle has to be 30 degrees. But we set it up, opposite hypotenuse, sine of theta equals my opposite over my hypotenuse. I would have to find the angle, so it's the sine inverse of my opposite over my hypotenuse. See how I set it up? And sure enough, you're going to get the same answer, 30 degrees. Now, of course, you know, different triangles have different things. So if we look at example 4, it's a totally different triangle, but it's the same process. Kind of hard to see all the numbers with the clowns in the way, but you know, there is a 5 right here. You guys see the 5 right there? And there's an 8 right here, okay? How am I doing? Can you guys see there? There's a 5, there's an 8 there. You know, the clowns, right? You guys see the 5 there and the 8 there, right?
It says 15.
Is it 15? Wow. Wow, man, I tell you, it's hard to see, isn't it? Okay. Thanks, you guys. So angle A. So same exact process. First thing, always start at the angle. First thing, always start at the angle, okay? I'll sign it later, okay? All right, so here we go. So find the measure of angle A. Here it is. Always start at the angle. So what are the names? Again, we need to name the sides. The 15, what's the name? From the angle, what's the name? Good. And what's the name of the 8? Everybody agree with adjacent? So again, we look up on the top of the board in the blue. We're looking for the combination that has the opposite of the adjacent, okay? Opposite adjacent, opposite adjacent. What do you see? It's going to be the tangent, exactly. So we're going to go tangent of A equals the opposite over the adjacent, which is the 15 over the 8. Okay? Am I doing okay? Does that seem like okay? Now, if we have to find the angle, what button must we push? The inverse. Yeah. Let's see what we get. So I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to go inverse tangent of 15 divided by 8, and I get an answer of about a 61.9 degrees. So angle A is about a 61.9 degrees. What do you think? Not too hard? You just have to remember that anytime you want to find an angle, you have to push the blue buttons, okay? Thumbs up. How am I doing? Doing okay? Trigonometry is not hard. It just sounds hard. Okay, ready to turn the page? Everybody ready to turn the page? Okay, let's turn the page. Okay, oh, okay. Now, in example 5, it says solve, which means we've got to find everything. We've got to find, there's 3 things to find. There's 3 things to find. Find angle P, we got to find angle I, and we got to find this side PG. Okay? Step 1, Grace, you're here. Step 1, you're so good about it. What's the first step we need to do always, Grace?
Label the sides.
We do, yeah, so we got to go start with the angle first, and yes, then we'll label sides. I agree. So step 1, start at the angle, right? Which angle do you want to start with, Grace?
I don't care.
Well, give me P or I. It doesn't matter to me.
Angle I.
Angle I. Okay, so if we start at angle I, now we can label our sides. Okay, so that's my opposite. That's my adjacent. That's my hypotenuse. Okay. I need to find angle I, right? So if I'm going to find angle I probably better use the 12 and the 16, right? Because I'm going to have to use my inverse button. So if I start with angle I, adjacent hypotenuse, I look up on the board, which one should it be? Yeah. So I'm going to go cosine of angle I equals the adjacent over the hypotenuse. Cosine of I equals the 12 to 16. Gretchen, you're getting this, aren't you? It's actually not that bad. But I need to find the angle, so what button do I have to push? I need to find the angle. Which button am I going to push on my calc if I need to find the angle?
The inverse.
Yeah, the inverse. So I'm going to go cosine inverse of 12 over 16 will give me angle I. All right, well, just going to use my calculator. Cosine inverse, 12 divided by 16, and I get an answer of about 41.4 degrees. Okay, we did the hard one, because the rest gets easy. Okay, now what?
Then you could do the 90 minus 41.
Yeah. So angle I, totally agree, Scott. So angle P is going to be just 90 minus 41.4 degrees. I totally agree, Scott. And I get about 48.6. All right, now we got a third thing to find. That's this opposite side here. Okay, there's two ways. You could use trigonometry or Pythagorean's theorem. It does not matter. Let's use trigonometry. Let's use trig. Let's use trig. That's what we need practice on, right? So if I want to find the opposite, and I've got the hypotenuse, I could have done this one too. Which trig function, if I want opposite hypotenuse? Anna? I'm sorry, Gretchen. I'll pick on Gretchen. Gretchen, which one am I going to use?
Sine.
Sine. Good. So you're getting it. So sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. This is what you missed, Anna, or Gretchen, but this is going to take me a second to get you caught up, okay? We're going to go sine of, you ready? 41.4, because we know the angle, okay? So Gretchen, instead of the inverse, I know the angle, so 41.4 goes there. Equals the opposite, which we don't know. You want to call it x? Or actually, we should call it little I, actually. Little I over 16, okay? This is what you missed, but it's going to be easy to catch up. So in this case, we will not push the blue button because we know the angle. But I need to solve. So I'm going to multiply by 16 to solve. Multiply by 16. Okay, now, in my calculator, Gretchen, I'm going to just type in 16 sine, not the inverse sine, but the regular sine, because I know the angle, 41.4, about a 10.6, okay? Give me thumbs up. Good. So little I equals 10.6. All right. Last but not least, and I'll be done, okay? Okay, a wheelchair ramp is built with a height of 8 inches and a ramp length of 54. To be in code, the angle must be less than 6 degrees. Is this ramp in compliance? Well, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. Here's my ramp. .54 is here. That's the ramp. Does that make sense? You're going to have a question like this on your test. That's the ramp. That is not the ramp that's in the sidewalk. That's covered up with okay? And this is going to be 8, okay? I need the angle. All right. So, like Grace said, let's label the side. My 8 is what's the name of my 8? What's the name of the 8? Good. And what's the name of the 54? Good. So which trig ratio should I use? Sine. So sine theta equals my opposite over my hypotenuse. Yes?
How are we supposed to know that the length means like the hypotenuse and not the like long side or the bottom side?
Great. I would tell you in a test, but think about this, Tava. If this was a wheelchair ramp, wouldn't that be that right there? That's what you're going to go up. Doesn't that make sense? You'd take your wheelchair up your ramp.
Yeah.
So that would have to be the hypotenuse. I mean, this can't be the ramp, right? Because then you'd have, that's in the dirt or whatever, right? That's actually, not even there, right? It's in the dirt or whatever. Good question, but I would tell you that on a test, okay? So then sine inverse, why sine inverse? Why sine inverse? Why this one?
So you can find
Yeah, we need to find the angle. So I'm going to use that button of 8 divided by 54. So I'm going to go sine inverse. I got to use my blue button, sine inverse of 8 divided by 54, and I get an answer of about 8.5 degrees. Sorry, we got to tear it down and build it again. It's too steep for Grandma to get up, huh? Grandma's not going to get up that ramp. She is going to be in sad shape. Yep. Okay, here's our homework for today, and I'll get you started on homework. We want to do page 308. 1 through 11 all. Let me stop my recording and I'll help you guys. I'm going to get you started on this.